the passion had to be already in there. The fire has to already be in there. So a lot of times when I do clinics and when I speak to other people, as I'm presented as a percussionist, really the underlying theme is pursuing your passion.
It's the music. It was all about the music. You know, jazz, that was the binding tie culturally. That was it. That's when it kept everything together for the neighborhood and for those jazz musicians. We the one that actually made the money, not only for your family, but we brought the money for the community.
Two of the songs that she calls me dancing to is Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams. You're all familiar with that. Sweet dreams are made of me. Travel the world and the seven. Oh, you gotta know this. Yeah! See, you teach him well. But as you know, it's got that 4 on the floor, you know, and that's what I was gravitating to. That. And she said the other song was Bobby Brown, My Prerogative.
Yeah.
I can do what I want to do. My prerogative, you know, y'all know Bobby Brown. He was moving and I was moving, you know. But those were the 2 songs that she calls me always like moving to. And so shortly thereafter, coming out of the womb, I started playing on one kitchen pot. And then I progressed to my first real drum called the djembe, which is an African drum. And it's so funny because my mom's friend, who's from Kenya, got the drum for me. And so when he saw me playing the kitchen pot, he said, "Oh no, you must play a real drum." And that's how he said it, you know, just like that. You must play a real drum. Oh no. And so he invested in me and got me my first drum. Was the accent okay? It was spot on.
Close my eyes.
Oh no, you must play a real drum.
Yes.
So he got me my first drum, the djembe, and I started playing in this after-school program called Made in Jolly, and it was funny because I was originally a dancer. I was dancing and doing the, you know, kakilambe, la 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 la, way, ya, way, ya. You know, we were moving around in our kente cloth and everything. But as I would be on the dance floor moving as a small child, I would look over and I would see the drummers, and I'm like, I wanna do that. I wanna play.
Yeah.
And I would be dancing, and they would be drumming, and I'm like, but I want to drum though. Like, I want to play. And so, sure enough, I was in kindergarten at the time. A good friend of mine, he was playing drums, and we were like the Bonnie and Clyde of kindergarten. We were just like crazy. Okay, Bonnie and Clyde of kindergarten is as crazy as that could get, right?
Yeah.
And so he was on drums. And I was dancing. I was like, Matthew, like, I think we should like switch. We should switch, like, because he wanted to dance. So, sure enough, we switched. He danced. I played drums, and all of a sudden, it became like this phenomenon of when we would perform out. Because here you had this young guy dancing and, you know, doing all, you know, the movements and everything. And then you had this little girl playing drums and everything. And you know, for the after-school program, obviously then everybody wanted to buy their child a djembe, and then everybody wanted to enroll their child in dance lessons. But the truth of the matter is, it took more than just buying a drum, and it took more than just buying dance lessons. Like, the passion had to be already in there. The fire has to already be in there. So a lot of times, when I do clinics and when I speak to other people, as I'm presented as a percussionist, really the underlying theme is pursuing your passion and being able to see other people in their passion and going for that. Now, what you do might not look like this. You know, it might not be drums, it might not be saxophone, but you have something in you that you're extremely passionate about, that you wouldn't mind doing it for free if you had to, but thank God you get some coins doing it, okay? And it excites you every day to do it. And so when you see someone else in their passion and living out their dreams and what their purpose is, you're like, wait a minute, I got something too. It don't look like that, But I have something of my own too that I too can pursue, whether it's teaching or medicine or law enforcement or theater or whatever. It could be the arts, it could be academics. Obviously, being a young woman in a male-dominated arena, oh, you're gonna get some slack. You know, it's gonna be tough. I recall so vividly when I was in 4th grade, I expressed an interest to the band director, and he flat out told me, no, I don't want any girls in my drum section. And
You still in?
he is. He is. No. Okay. My African voice. No. And it's so funny, but so then he told me a flat out no, and he put me on clarinet. And so I played clarinet, and I ended up becoming like the clarinet section leader and everything. And then I started teaching my fellow peers how to play clarinet, those who were coming in after me. And so, you know, it was as I take that time thinking about it, reflecting on it now as I'm older, looking back, I realized, wow, like I became the section leader of an instrument I never wanted to play. And then on top of that, I started teaching other people an instrument I never wanted to play. So just imagine how hard I could go for something that I really do want to play. And so for that, it was just a moment of reflection for me of like, hey, sometimes you're gonna have to do some stuff you don't want to do. But guess what? Still do it like you want to do it. And don't let nobody think you don't want to do it, okay? Like, you know, at the end of the day, my mom is like, hey, it's so funny, I would get in trouble when I was little, and she would like give me a whooping, right? Like in public, like she'd take me off into the bathroom and give me a whooping. And then she'd like, now fix your face. Fix your face. No, you better not. And then one person asks what's wrong with you, I'm gonna bring you back in this bathroom and I'm gonna beat you some more. So I think that kind of prepared me to like, no matter what type of blows you're taking, you better get it together real quick and act like you're okay and just push through. Yeah. You know? Shout out to my mama for instilling that in me. But it worked, because can you imagine how it could be a totally different type of situation if I'm like pouting and I'm like got attitude because I'm playing clarinet. Like the scenario, the narrative would have changed completely. So did that for 3 years. 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and then I transferred to 7th grade, and then I was able to pursue my interest in drums as the band director there was not sexist, so that was cool, so he let me, but he wasn't sexist, but my band members were. Yeah. So it's like, okay, all right, if I'm not gonna get it from the conductors, then I'm gonna get it from somewhere else, you know? Yeah. And so I was on the drum line. They made me carry the heaviest drum on the line, which at the time were the quints, or the quintums. It's a 5. And here I am, a 7th grader with little pigtails, one up top, one in the back, you know, glasses. And you put the quints on me, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, really about to tip on over. Like, it was that heavy. So I was like, okay, I know I'm not going to quit, because that's what they want me to do. So I'm like, okay, so it look like we're going to have to do some extra push-ups, some extra sit-ups. You know, do a little curling, whatever, with the dumbbell, and get it together, because you're not kicking me off. Yeah. You're not gonna get rid of me that easy. Yeah. And so, sure enough, you will always be validated, even if it takes years for the validation to come around. That the people who rejected you, who said no, who said you can't do it, that was necessary. It was a part of the plan, because if you always hear yes, and if you always have things in your favor and things are going your way, you'll never know what it means to be persistent. You'll never know what it means to really have to pull your bootstraps up and be like, we got to dig in. We gonna make it do what it do. And so I'm thankful for those moments, and I'm thankful for those times. So that was high school, and then I went on to college at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, where I did a double major in music performance and music production. And even then, when I went in my freshman year, I wasn't decided. I didn't come in right away as a music major. I was undecided, so I didn't declare music until my sophomore year. And so because of that, the academy referred to me as being a year behind. Okay, now I was on scholarship, tuition, and then other scholarships, which all together made a full ride.
Yeah.
Praise God, because you know,
Right.
Mama was like, "You're gonna be working."
Absolutely.
Okay. It made a full ride, so I was really ecstatic about that. But when they said because I didn't declare until sophomore year that I was a year behind, I'm like, "But this money say 4 years." We ain't got. In addition to also doing a summer course in between my sophomore year and my junior year, so that I could graduate on time. Because I'm like, money is not free. I'm very fortunate and blessed enough to be afforded the opportunity to go to college on a full ride, all expenses paid for, and then I was an RA, which is a resident advisor.
That's
right? So I was, okay, so people were like, when did you sleep? I was like, in class. But the Lord made a way, okay? The Lord, He made a way. And so that was college, and then I graduated college, and then I spent 4 years back home in Chicago, kind of playing around with my own band, Taylor Moore and Friends, and we did festivals and we did shows and we played clubs. I think sometimes people get stuck in that one-dimensional frame of what jazz is. Like, jazz is so much. Jazz is gospel. Jazz is R&B. Jazz is hip-hop, you know? Like, jazz is all of these genres, kind of a melting pot that has been merged together that creates this dialogue that we create with our instruments. So never think that jazz is just swing or straight ahead, ding, 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 ding. No.
And everybody just give each other a passionate hug. Let me start, baby. All right? Give me a hug, girl. Give me a hug, man. Give me a hug, brother. Give me a hug, man. Give me a hug, girl. But growing up, Mom said, you know, before everybody needs a hug, you're gonna give each other a passionate hug, and it's gotta be to my liking. You don't hug your brother to my liking, then certain things, you gonna get a spank. Now, she didn't say spank. You gonna get a whooping. You gonna get your tail beat. You know, and the reason why, because she, you know, many times when you give each other hugs, she didn't look at it as if, but this might be the last time you see each other. No. She wanted that love to be inside you, to know that that's going to be, when you leave, you got something meant to be happy about. And she made that to be that way every day. You know, then I started seeing the older musicians, you know, everybody used to come in my house, they did the same thing. So now I'm seeing it go, okay, that's validation. I know what that's all about, you know. But let me tell you about my parents. And I can tell you, you know, I'm getting all, I'm getting excited for a minute, man. My mom, she was one of the dancers for the Cali Club in New York, just like in late 40s. You know, so every summer, you know, all the whole family would live, well not live, we would go to New York, and most of my relatives are in Brooklyn. So we would go during the summertime to hang out. And then we would go to the clubs, you know. So I'm like, what, 2, 3 years old, and we would just go hang. You know, and I'm just going hanging with my dad, going hanging with my mom. My dad was a saxophonist, right? So going to New York and seeing all of these jazz musicians, and everybody had fun. Everybody had, y'all not understanding. Everybody had fun. When they got together, they were, oh, what's up, baby? Oh. And everybody would do this. Now, you as a little kid, when you see that all the time, I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. That's gonna be my ticket. Period. That's what I'm gonna do. Let me tell you how that happened. My parents was like, well, it's forbidden for any one of us to even look at my dad's saxophone too hard. You can't look at it that hard because they figured that we gonna go do something with it, you know. So, of course, me, I was a little different. So let me go see is anybody looking. And I'm gonna go and deal with the saxophone. I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, Dad would have the saxophone on the saxophone stand. So I would take this way here and turn it around this way, turn the neck all around. But maybe you play it like this.
No.
No.
So Mom and Dad, I didn't know. You know, the saxophone would be right in the living room, right on the stand, you know. And so this is a story that Mama told me. She said, listen, you know, my dad used to call them boo gates. He said, no, boo, don't do nothing. Take it off. I told him, no, don't do that. Let's just see what happens. So home would be on the stand and I walk around. You know, take the horn off and just look at it. She said, look like he's really interested in wanting to do that kind of thing. So that's how I got started. But your story that you said about your mom when she was pregnant with you, let me tell you mine. Since my dad was a saxophonist, he used to take his horn and serenade her all 9 months. Now, of course, you know, she still was dancing. So, you know, back then we didn't have CDs. So they took out the records, you know, and 9 days a week we had jazz. We would have the whole community would come over. And she would call everybody, child, did y'all get the latest, you know, Miles record? Or did you get the latest, man, you know, Count Basie? And they would all come over with these records. They put the record on the record, put the records on and play them. And they all would sit Indian style. They had spaghetti. They would have all this food. They take the actual coffee table and move it out of the way. And you know, we talking about the swing dance now. But that's what was happening back at that time. And they would just have a party. That was the party. You know, not the party that you stand on the side of the wall, man, the music playing. Yeah. No, I want none of that. It was they was in there having fun. That was the jazz. So, you know, at 9 o'clock, you know, we had to be, well, when the sun went down, I had to be in bed. That won't happen. I would just, you know, look through the peephole so I could see. And they all would be, I mean, man, they was having so much fun. And when the night gets old, tell them this is what they did. They didn't go, well, Miss Gates, we're going to leave. Her name was Della. We're going to leave now. We're going to go home. 2, 3 o'clock, they just fall asleep where they are. You know, and at that time, you know, the men and the females, whether they was married or not, man, they had no problem with if you fall asleep and your head was be on another man's, you know, shoulder. No, it was because culturally, and you spoke about this, it's the music. It was all about the music. You know, jazz, that was the binding tie culturally. That was it. That's when it kept everything together for the neighborhood and for those jazz musicians. We the one that actually made the money, not only for your family, but we brought the money for the community. That's real deep. So that's all we did. That was it. That's why, you know, I get all, so I'm seeing her get all excited. You know, you can tell, man, I'm sitting there, I did my best. to sit there, man. I was sitting on my hands because I was about to blow up. But that's how I got started, because jazz is, I'd be a dead corpse if I didn't do this. I just died. It's everything for me, and it's been an incredible blessing for me. Let me tell you my story. I started playing the saxophone physically at 6. All right, that's how that took place. When I was in elementary school, it's the 3rd grade. We had this guy by the name of John Payton. Now, I was just sharing with the musicians. My story was just a little different, man, from the instructors or the teachers that you met. Because if my instructors met that particular guy, they would whoop his tail. He'd be beat right now. Because they didn't play that. All of the teachers I had happened to be instructors. They had the ability. They was either had their masters or they had their doctors. But you never knew it. They never carried around it. My name is Dr. So-and-so. When you're a musician and you're on that bandstand, don't nobody care about you being a doctor. Don't nobody care about you having a master's degree. They want to know, can you play?
That's right.
That's it. So, and I didn't find that out until later, that the teachers I had already had that, educational background. But they could play a ton. And they would say things like, Lil Boo, because that's what it was calling me, Lil Boo at the time. Lil Boo, Dallamay, because my mom was a dancer. Dallamay, look, we're going to be playing at so-and-so club tonight, or we're going to be playing in D.C., or we might be playing in New Jersey. The whole family would go. All of us would go. I would be on the stage, Dad would be playing, the microphone would be right here, and I'll be just on his foot. He'd be doing this, not going up and down like that. So I would be right on the gig with him, right? Had such a great time, with that. So anyway, when I started in the 3rd grade, John Payton, who was from Kansas City, the saxophonist, he started me. This is what he said. Came to the classroom, and the teacher said, today we're going to have Mr. John Payton, and we want everybody to say, good morning, Mr. Payton. And everybody said, good morning, Mr. Payton. So he went around with everybody. And he asked your name, he asked your name. We asked everybody, so what do you want to play? When he came to me, we had the recorders at that time, black flutes. I said, I want to play that. No. You playing the saxophone. Now, I found out later that when my mom went into label, Mr. Payton and a few other jazz musicians kept told the community was thick. So when my mom went to label, it wasn't just my dad, it was the musicians. They were there to celebrate the birth of me. That's a deep thing. They all knew, and they all decided, he gonna play saxophone. Period. That's it. That's what's gonna happen. So in elementary, that's when I said flute, you playing the saxophone. And I was like, Mom, Mr. John Payton just came by the school just now. He said I'm gonna play saxophone. So that's how I started. Now, when you said, Taylor, that that's all you wanted to do, I literally, that's it. I didn't want to go outside to play with no kids. I didn't want to go to the playground. I didn't want to eat no dinner. I didn't want to do nothing. Mom had to go and say, no, you can put that fork, you can put this horn down, and you got to come down and eat. All of us. Do I have to? Yes. So I would eat just enough. Can I go back now? Yes, you can go out. You can go back upstairs. To go outside, she said, well, you got to go outside to mingle with the kids because you got to get some social skills. Now, I'm telling them, in school, in the elementary, this is how I used to take my case. The mom said, you do not leave this case anywhere. You got to go to the bathroom, you drag it with you. You're never supposed to go to the office. You go to the office, I'm going to beat your tail. You're not supposed to be there. The office is for the meaning that you just went to jail. You don't go to the office. And if they said they want you to go and take the roll and take it to the office, you tell your instructor, my mama said, you can't go to So I like this. So, you know, being in elementary, man, you're gonna get teased. You gonna get teased. I was about your size. No, I was your size. I'm not kidding, man. I was a real small guy, wore glasses, big thick glasses too, man. I mean, shoes, man, would look like you had, you know, stacks, so they could hear me. So but I knew that every time, you was talking about the drum, every time I used to take my horn. Now I know some people, man, when I was to tell the story, they would look at it and go, "You strange." I know it. I used to have my horn, put it right next to me in my bed. Every night. I love my horn. I love the saxophone. Y'all understand? It's that deep. I love my saxophone because it did so many wonderful, wonderful things for me. It never talked back to me. We'd never have an argument. If we did have an argument, she would win. She would win all the time, man. You got to pay attention to that, you know. Speaking of my first saxophone, how many people know of Stu Gardner? All right. Stu Gardner was an organist. And in 58, this is what my dad told me, in 58, his first band, it was organ, saxophone, somebody else played drums, I don't know. But Stu Gardner played in my dad's first band. Stu Gardner had a saxophone, you know, I don't even know the name, I just know the saxophone, we had to keep it together with a rubber band, you know. But that was my first saxophone, you know, and because it was my first, y'all don't understand, man, I really took every little bit detail to make sure that this saxophone was going to be loved by me all the time. Now, this energy that you see is all day long. All day long. At Virginia State, my classes, that hug that we just did just now, it's in my syllabus. That all of the males, they have to make sure before the females sit down, they got to sit them down properly. That's in my syllabus. Because a lot of them, they don't know what it's like to have, you know, a male nowadays to properly, you know, respect the female and sit them down properly. Make sure to push the chair up, and the female should say, "Thank you." That's all. That's every day. We do that. You know, it makes me feel good because that's the way it was when I was growing up, and that's all I saw. So all of the negativity about, you know, males shouldn't. You got to watch how you know, shake or give somebody a hug. Well, we didn't have that, man. You know, I didn't grow. So all of this love is genuine. It's like this. When I met when was it? Was it a couple of years old? Was it years ago? We first met from the Army. Everybody in the band got a hug. Everybody got a hug. I mean, a passionate hug now. It wasn't like church hug. You do this right here. I don't know what that is, man. I don't know what that is. I ain't gonna mess with you do that. But anyway, so, you know, I went through the ranks in elementary school, and when I got to the 6th grade, because I had all of these incredible instructors. I had Joe Kennedy. Anyone know about Joe Kennedy? All right, Joe, you ever heard of him? Oh my God. You ever heard of Joe Kennedy? Baby, you got to Google Joe Kennedy, man. Joe Kennedy Jr., all right? He was like the first African-American violinist, the principal violinist for the Richmond Symphony. And he was ranked number 4 in the world when it came to jazz violinists. Live right in Richmond. That's what he was my instructor. So I'm kind of letting you know that my instructors I had, if they met that, whatever his name is, they would whoop his tail. You know, and at that time, they used to have, they didn't carry guns, they carried knives. And they believe in they'll cut you. No, I'm trying to tell you something. They will cut you. Because what they felt like is this. You respecting this music that we created. Y'all you taking ching chain out of our pocket for us to be able to go and feed our family and the community. Who are you? Oh no. They cut you. They would do it. You know, and they would have the little switchblade. And they'd go and call each other on the phone. Hey Joe, let me tell you what happened the other night. Really? Let me call, hey Jimmy, I got this message from Joe. And everybody started getting the message. They'll meet up. Where is he? We're gonna cut him now. See, I grew up like this. The community was thick, man. It was real. No one could get in. You was proud to hang out with some jazz musicians, man, because they will protect you. They get on your case if you're not doing your right stuff now. That was a different language. I can't talk about the language. You can't say the language. You know, but it was a different kind of vibe that they all loved. If they saw you, oh my God, they would, girl, you would never even have to worry about a car. You wouldn't have to worry about no train. You wouldn't have to worry about no plane, because they come get you. They were like that. So I grew up in that kind of era. Everything was cool. Now, when I got to high school, all right, we had, you know, your regional band, you know, you had state band and stuff like that. Again, I still had that, you know, that horn, that sax, my first saxophone. Now, if you saw it, it was, man, it was, this was not cool, you know, but as long as it worked. So, my 9th grade year, you know, I had my, let's see, the 3rd grade had John Payton. In my 6th, 7th, and 8th grade year, I had Joe Kennedy. Got to high school, I got John Payton again. All right. He said, okay, Gates, we're going to get you prepared for all districts. And you're going to be #1, or you're going to get your tail beat. Now, they said it in a way because, you know, I don't know what you know anything about it, but there was certain musicians back at that time, they were hoofers. Y'all heard that? Hoofers are musicians. They used to have, if you check out the movie, Taps, all right, that's Gregory Hines, and he would tell you about the hoofers. 3rd floor, those jazz musicians, man, were the musicians who really made the music happen. You know, especially those who created the music, they were the hoofers. If you want to be a musician, you got to go through them. You know, you got to be real and authentic with it, passionate. So anyway, when he said, I need you to be able to become that first saxophonist, when he said whip your tail, it wasn't physical. It was that you know better. You got to represent. So when I went to all districts, I had this piece of saxophone, you know, and you go to these places, man, in schools, you know, a lot of the musicians, man, they had brand new saxophones, stuff was killing. And I would sit just like this. I ain't lying, man, I still do this. I'll do this right here. Wow. And I'm looking at the other saxophones going, you ain't gonna get that chair no more. That's mine. I was saying to myself. So I just kept hearing what they said. The musicians like, no, your responsibility that you need to make sure you represent. You know, you got to do this right. I want you to get in there, and when you get that first chair, it belongs to you. It belongs to us. So it was personal. It wasn't that you just went there and played me a C scale, 2 octaves. Okay, now play it this time like you really want. Play me 1 octave. All right, see, I mean, that means that you will sit down. That's the way they want to do it. You know, playing stuff like, you know, man, that ain't gonna do nobody nothing. You get in and get out. All right, and we had to do everything. So in my 6th grade year, Taylor, we didn't look at it as being as, well, you know, you got grade 1, grade 2, grade 6 music. He just gave you music. And when these instructors, they would play it first, and then they would have, so when one of those musicians, if he came to my class and played that, or we had Taylor come to class and she played a paradiddle, but played, you know, all she needs is 10 seconds. And they're gonna stay around her. They're gonna do that. Well, that's where it was with me. So, my 9th grade year, I was first chair. Not only all district, all state. My sophomore year, same people I saw, I'm rocking in that chair. And I said, you ain't getting this. This belongs to me, Jack. You gonna sit there. You see all this energy? Because it's like this all the time. 'Cause I love when she said that, man, I sat down, but I was really wanting to shout. But I loved it. So my sophomore year, all district, first chair state. Junior year, same thing. Senior year, same thing. Now, I never looked at it being anything other than I'm respecting what my instructors said I needed to do. But in the process, I really started loving it even more. You know, not just getting the first chair, but you know, I didn't want to talk to nobody, I didn't want to hang out with nobody. You know, when you're doing all district and doing all state, you in a room like this and everybody's trying to play. Everybody's trying to, they come all in front of you. They're doing all of these things in front of me and I'm going. I'm like, that's right. Y'all go ahead. But you gonna sit down. And I didn't have a new horn. I had rubber bands all around my horn to keep the springs together. You know, and all I'm saying is for the youth. You see all of this? All right. Another thing they said was, when you go to school, your job is to bring them grades. That's how you eat.
That's right. That's right.
Now I'm trying to let the kids know, man. Cause look, I grew up in the projects.
Hey.
Anyone, the projects. I'ma say it again, the projects. I'm proud to tell you I came from the projects.
Which one?
Fairfield Court. Now I'm saying it like that because back then, everybody in the melting pot, we all had to go through the same thing. And when they knew that they had little bouquets playing a saxophone, they would come to my mama's house and say, we want to hear what you got to play. We want to hear it. And they all gave me this, encouraging words. So I had that, man. I mean, it was not anything at all for me to feel like, man, I don't know why they said. I just took it. Now, sometimes that language that they use, you know, if I use it right now, you probably get upset. That was the language that they used. So I never looked at it as being anything like, man, why are you saying that to me like that? No, I just kind of laughed and said, man, that's cool, you know? So you can imagine what I mean. You know, I ain't gonna say it, but that's what I dealt with. Now, when I got to Virginia State University, in high school, I did baseball, I did wrestling, I did cross country, and I did football, all dealing with music. Here's the reason why. Mom said, well, this is law. You're gonna do music, and everybody's gonna do sports. That's a balance. The reason why, because they both support each other. You have to stay focused. If you're playing football, you will get knocked out. You know, if you're playing basketball, you might get hit in the throat. You know, I'm using all this, you know, I got all this energy, man. You know, but you gotta stay focused. And being a musician, tell out to know you know this. We can easily be distracted. You stay like this. It's gonna take everybody in here, even little kids, man. Everybody, you have the responsibility to make sure after this session is over, you gotta open your mouth and let people know why jazz is such an important genre of music, not only from the adults. It's that important. You know, we should have a line around it. We should have that, but it's gonna take us to do that. We gotta do the work. It ain't for the musicians because we love it. We're gonna play, man, 48 hours if we could. We would be loving that deep, you know. But while we in education, we all are in education because we get touched by people who get some magnificent input. You know, check out our website. We gonna do something like that. I'm just telling you that's the way it is. We gonna do that. You know, I got a new record that's out now. The single. It's titled "Together We Can Make It," and it's personal. Because all of the stuff that you see is going on now, I ain't got to call it, you know what's going on, right? You said together we can make it. Now, that means that this first time we make it, that means that we work together. That means that we can make it. We work together. We can make it. If we work together, we gonna make it. If we get together, we can make it. If we get together, we can make it. If we get together, we gonna make it. Y'all see what I mean? It takes all of us to make this thing work. If we work together. I'm ready.